Hey guys, I just wanted to talk about a subject that has been bothering me since I found out about it, and that uh, is the teens that have committed suicide because of bullying, because of their sexuality. Now, I know a lot of people are on the fence about this subject because there are people who don't condone homosexuality, people that aren't okay with it, people that have issues with it, and that's fine. That's a personal, opinion, and that's a personal preference if you decide not to have friends that, are like that. That's completely up to you. But coming from a person who does have friends who are homosexual and friends that are transgendered, it is a life that a lot of people will never understand. These are people who are still trying to figure themselves out, who live in a society where they can't walk down the street because they're afraid that people are going to look at them differently or people are going to judge them without even knowing them. There's been plenty of times I know where I've walked down the street with my best friend, and because he dresses the way he dresses, people look at him differently. People whisper about him, and that's just something that I feel is very sad. And if this continues, that type of behavior, that ignorance, imagine what our generation is going to look like after us and the generation after them, where kids who are 13, 14, 15 are committing suicide because these other children are ignorant, because these other children only know what their parents are teaching them, that homosexuality is a sin, that it's evil, that it's this or that it's that. That's fine if that's what you believe, and that's fine if that's what you want to teach your children, but you should also teach your children, if you're going from a religious standpoint, that God always says to love thy neighbor and to not pass judgment on others. So why aren't you teaching your children that? Why are you just teaching your children that it's okay to hate another individual when your child doesn't even know that individual and you don't even know that individual? I think it's sad that so many people are so judgmental on a life that doesn't even personally affect them. If you don't like the homosexual community, don't live in West Hollywood. Don't go to a tranny show. Don't go to a gay bar. It's that simple. But to teach your children that bullying another kid because that kid likes Steve instead of Stacy, that's horrible. Where are your morals? And I'm not gonna judge. Actually, I should take that back, because I'm not gonna judge those that teach their children to hate. I'm not, because that's not my place. But I will say that it's something that when I have children that I would never do, because the homosexual community, they live a life that I know I've said this before, but that you don't understand. To live in a society where people don't understand you and they fear you, and because they fear you, they hate you. You don't have to you don't have to be friends with the tranny. It's okay. But you never know. That tranny may benefit your life. That tranny may be the best friend you've ever had, but you would never know because you're so blinded by hate. And at the end of the day, all that negative energy, all that just negativity only weighs you down. And I mean, you only stunt your growth in life by hating others because you don't understand them. That's what baffles me. You hate them because you don't understand them. You don't understand them because you're not allowing yourself to. You're not taking that first step to see this person as an individual instead of seeing this person as a thing, or as a sickness, or as an illness, or as a problem. But who are you to assume that these people are issues, that they're drama, that they're evil, that they're corrupt, that they're going to go to hell? You don't know that. You don't know that. And I know that there are a lot of people who are very religious, and that's fine. More power to you. I'm more of a spiritual person. But I know there are a lot of people who are very religious that will say, well, it says in the Bible that God even uh, showed his wrath on those people that were dealing in sexual deviancies with the same sex. But people, let's be real. The Bible was written by man. It has been manifested and carried down generation through generation through generation by man. So you cannot specifically say that you know for a fact, because you weren't there when God supposedly said this. So for you to use that excuse and use it towards an intention of hate is even more ridiculous. And again, like I said before, if you want to quote God, God is supposed to share the example of loving one another. So are you loving that homosexual that you gave a bad look to? Are you loving that the children that are dealing with the fact that they're trying to find their own sexual identities? Are you loving those kids? No, you're not. Because you're not taking the time out to. You're not. And I just think it's sad that I've looked at videos today and I've read comments of such ignorance. And I wonder what our future is going to be like. People hating people. Like, what is it going to... What have we learned? Like, even through racism, we learned nothing. It's the same thing. And we've still learned nothing. There's still people hating other people. And for what? For what? There's no good excuse. There's no good answer for it. And I just think it's sad. And I hope that we don't lose any more teens because of ignorance. I hope we don't lose any more teens because they're afraid to be themselves. I hope we don't. Because one of the teens that we lost because of that could have been the next astronaut, could have been the next doctor, could have been the next Albert Einstein. And I know that may sound cheesy, but it's the reality. So I just hope that you guys wake up. Those people that are teaching their kids that bullying is okay and teaching their kids that homosexuality is a sickness and it's an illness and that they shouldn't have friends that are like that. I hope that you wake up and that you realize that you're setting an example and that you're a role model for the next generation. And if you're going to teach hate, then you need to be responsible for the consequences that come with that. And I want everybody to remember that the next time that you say something disrespectful or you say something that's so disgusting about homosexuals, and if you say something that condones hate, then you're just as guilty, in my eyes, you're just as guilty as those kids that bullied those teens into committing suicide. Which side are you on? A lot of people don't know this, but we're at a war with ourselves. We're at a war in our communities. Which side are you on?